1999. We're blessed to have him with us on this campus here at Clayton University. He's actually certified as a master trainer from the California Clinic, and he belongs to different organizations throughout the world that deal with teacher training. So we've been blessed with the opportunity of actually having this training for free. And he's going to deal with some issues related to a student-centered classroom. It should also be known that the video and that the things he's going to show us today, he only had about 36 hours to prepare. We just informed him that we liked him to do something. So he took some of the video that he's done of himself in the classroom. He actually, I know that a lot of you feel uncomfortable when the guy comes in the classroom with the video camera and he records you. Mansour actually likes to record himself. And no, it actually is it's a good procedure. It's a good procedure because you get to see your own mistakes. You get to see how your students respond to you and things like this. Anyway, so he's going to use some of that footage today in his training session that he's going to have right now, inshallah ta'ala. Without further ado, is there anything else that I should... Okay, can I turn the lights off now or should I turn them off later?
Okay, no problem. I'm just going to speak for 1 minute.
Okay, after you speak.
I'll get the first to work on. I just want to clarify 2 points actually. Point number 1, and both points are related to the video game. Point number 1 is I used to shoot myself for about 6 years. And this is not because I like myself actually. It's just because I want to know my mistakes. That's it. So it happened without preparation. This is what I mean. And point number 2 is this video was not intended for training and was not intended to show to professionals like you. So this is a point. But I had to use it just to save time because I have just less than 30 minutes to get the message to you. And at the same time, I can't consider it just a message or a training. Training is a big word and we need trainees and trainers. So you are not considered to be trainees actually. No, we are just going to exchange the experience and you are going to help me know my mistakes on the video. This is the point I want you to do. So, because we don't have also time to have all the comments, I just prepared some kind of a checklist while showing the video. You are going to get me your points and then we will relate it to the student-centered classroom. Actually, before starting the video themselves, yes, please. Before starting the video, you should have a previewing worksheet. We have today actually 3 worksheets. A previewing one, and a viewing one, and a post-viewing one. For the previewing worksheet, this is just to prepare you for the video itself, to be concentrated, this is what I mean, or to get to the point directly and quickly. So I expect you to quickly get the handouts number 3 and 4, 4 and 5. The activity itself and the worksheet. This is a quick background or the outline of the activity.
3 and 4, look, it's like this.
3 and 4, 4 and 5.
3 and 4.
3 and 4 is as I said. So 3 and 4, this is the activity outline and this is the worksheet based on the activity. So I need you just for 1 minute to have a look on them carefully. Just 1 minute, okay? Because you will expect, according to this activity, what I will do.
I look at I need to ask you. I look at the activity sheet, and then I'm going to try to guess how you're going to perform the activity.
Yes, first of all, you are going to look at the activity outline, and then you will just look quickly at the worksheet also, just to have an idea about it. And then I will give you the first handout, which expects you to guess how am I going to present this activity to the classroom. Okay? I'm sorry, of course, because we don't have enough copies for all of you, because actually this was intended just for the supervisors of the cafes. And I have known that there are just 20, and therefore I prepared 20 copies. I didn't know that all of you are going to be here. So, of course, you're welcome, but just the point is I was not prepared for that. But anyway, just please now, you had a look on the activity and the worksheet. Now get worksheet number 1. Get worksheet number 1. You have the papers organized as you see on the interface. The interface paper, I mean. Yes, the pink one also. So this is the hard paper, the pink one. It is worksheet number 1. Now you have actually 5 minutes just to fill in this worksheet. And I think that you're going to finish it faster than that. But actually you have 5 minutes just to finish it. You want the people who don't have worksheets, I'm so sorry for that, but yes, you might have just shared it with another one sitting beside you. Maybe about 15.
Are we supposed to finish before we watch this?
Yes, this is actually this review. You are supposed to fill it according to what you expect through what you have seen in the activity outline and the worksheet. So what do you think the teacher is going to do? Whatever the teacher, even if you don't know him, you don't know me, you don't know how am I teaching, no problem about that. The point is, how do you think the teacher is going to present this activity? Is he going to fulfill these points? What points are we going to cover, and so on? Sorry, I don't have enough copies. I'm sorry for that, but you might just share him.
No need to apologize.
Just point to her. And still see this was a wonderful point. What are expected to see? Okay, so what you're saying is students are expected to.
Okay, you have 1 minute and a half left, actually.
if we need to see, for example, that the students will work individually and in pairs. And because it doesn't really allow for both choices. For example, we need to say that students will first work individually.
Choose just one. I am there actually to leave just one choice because this is actually done. One of them for the video, especially for the video. This is not a free version. I mean, this is not a plan of the viewer. No. This is a plan for the video, you understand? It should match the video.
But for example, you are asking us as teachers or as trainees to identify the stages or the kind of work which students will do, okay? Whether individually or in pairs or groups, right?
The point I'm not asking about the stage.
The stages,
because already the students will work on the activity because the teacher chose just one type of working, either individually or
Just asking for your prediction.
you understanding? And even if
here, for example, that I as a teacher, okay, if I'm to work on this activity, those students, for example, to work first individually, and then work in pairs, and then after that, I might learn new groups.
that's perfect. And this is what happened actually, but without interest. But normally you can choose two, you can have two choices. Or that's not okay. You can just number them. No problem. You can number them if you want to number them 1, 2, 3. That's no problem. Okay. So we should actually now start viewing the video. I'm sorry that I don't have time to give enough background about everything, but for one point that Dr. Gamal actually told me now, this is very important, about the point of the individual work or pair work or group work. I haven't left you enough spaces for the choices. This is what I mean. You have to choose just one. No, you can just number them. If you want to use 2 types or 3 techniques, you might just number them 1, 2, 3, or 3, whatever you want. Maybe you're going to start with group and then individually and then pairs, whatever you want. Thank you very much for this point, of course. Now we're going to start viewing the video, and you have to have worksheet number 2, which is the colorful one here. This one should have it, and I have enough copies. I think you got the copies. Where's the copy? Where's the copy? Anyone doesn't have this? Okay, you all have it? No, he had one. He had the colors. I'm sure. So anyone needs a copy? Okay. So while just watching, you're going to have just about 20 seconds to have a look on the worksheet before viewing. But just to understand this point, while watching the video, you are just checking the points you want to choose. And at the same time, you will be left just half a minute after the video to finish the rest of the sheet if you haven't filled one of the points. Okay? So let's see if the video meets your expectations or not actually. But another point just to Okay? Just try to remember. Try to remember. Okay? Try. Okay? And raise your voice, please. Let's start. One day. One day. Raise your voice. One day. You also should drive, yes. Both of you should drive. This is the story that they have just written.
Don't look at the copy. No, on the space itself. On the space itself. Yes. They have, once I went back home, I found the roof was leaking. Okay, is this one correct? So thank you very much. Thank you. This is good. Because one of the difficult words. Okay, thank you. So now can I write the second word? Just look at, don't look at your computer, just write it out to your mind. The word was cracked.
I left the copybook with him intentionally, actually. I know he's looking at it. Just see the next step.
So who wrote this here? If you know it, you can write it out of your mind, not from the copybook. So just please give, you need the copybook again and write it again, okay? So you just write it again. Now correct yourself. Correct yourself. Check your answer. Okay, thank you very much. Again, the time. Please write this one. I don't want this. No, I want this one or this one. So the water heater was not working. You can come and write this word. Okay, go on, write it. Write it. Yes, this one. You know what it is? Yes. Right here. Still we have one better. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, let's first see these words, okay? The first one was leaking. Here you have leaking. That's it. It is correct. And the second one here is cracked.
It is the same student, actually. The same one who was working.
Thank you. Will you just please raise your voice more than that, and all of you should say at the same time. All of you read and speak at the same moment, okay? Just 1, 2, 3. And how many problems do you have? Here, I have 2 problems. The roof was leaking and the wood was cracked. And here 6 workers, 6 people to fix. You understand the meaning of the word fix? Yes. To fix. Huh? Raise your voice, please. So I need 6 people to fix these 6 problems.
Was that speaking class or writing class?
No, actually, haven't you seen them writing the story? And they were correcting themselves? So it was a writing cafe, actually.
Yeah, and that most of the time was spent on speaking activities. Right?
Actually, how are you going to let them write without let them speak? This is the point. So we should then get them first to speak, actually, and then they can write. And by the end of one session, to have them write all this story, actually, and correct themselves and check the spelling and work in pairs, I think this is good. Even if you depend on a 5th skill, not even the 4 skills of English that we know. But anyway, the rest of the classroom, because there is about 10 minutes more that I haven't shown.
Can I comment on this? I
Sure. Yes, please.
Yesterday we had a conversation regarding, the integrated approach, integrated course books, and the skill-based. And we're advocating the skill-based approach because we claimed that you cannot work on one skill, apart from the other skills.
Sure.
So when the students are working on writing, speaking is involved.
And another point which is very important actually, but again, because of the time, and I'm so sorry for that, if you just look here, you will find that handout number 5 and 6 is about the TPRS approach. The TPRS approach is mainly depending on speaking to shift to writing. You understand me? It is TPRS, storytelling. It is storytelling, but then you're going to write. So they should know the words first in order to write it, and then they are going to correct themselves. You will have another just 30 minutes to revise worksheet 2 and to compare it with worksheet 1. I mean, if you had expectations and you found something different, this is number 1. Number 2, again, I'm sorry for the last 10 minutes of the class, because the last 10 minutes of the class, Mr. Osama, were actually focused on writing again. So I'm sorry for that, because we didn't have time on the clip, or for the session. Okay? So just have a minute looking on the worksheet number 2, and again, worksheet number 1. Number 4, I'm sorry for that. Number 4, I typed a mistake. How could the students acquire the structure included? The is missing. So it is a structure test. Yes. Again, not a mistake.
No, it's the same one. How would the students acquire the structure of the structure to be one massive one? What you said, how could the students acquire the skills?
I'm sorry, but you can choose actually more than one point, of course. You understand me? You can have more than one choice, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 even. Of course not the 4.
Skills.
No.
The structure is different.
Structure is I gave for number 4, if you can get my word of the word structure, I mean the grammatical points of the activity. So, I mean the grammatical points included. This is what I mean by structure here. The grammatical points included. Okay. Now, may I just have your comments first about what you have expected and what you have found and what shouldn't be there, because I told you actually that this was not intended to be for training, or otherwise it would be more decent with the students actually than that. But anyway, this was not intended for the training session. So of course you will find mistakes, and you will just tell me about these mistakes related to the worksheets that you have done now, and maybe especially number 2 and number 3. So, will you just tell me your comments about that? Okay.
Like in number 1, we only saw 10 minutes of the lecture, so we can't really comment to the 45 minutes video. We just get snippets from what we saw. Number 1, I see the role is more facilitating, getting the students involved, good use of miming silent approach, bringing information from the students, learning their vocabulary, get them engaged in activities. Fantastic. Facilitate. Number 1 was excellent.
Okay, thank you for this. Another point that you should know, or you should have known actually through the, if you looked carefully at the activity outline, you will find that this activity was done on 2 sessions, not just 1. This was the second one. Therefore, students can tell me the words of the story, and I was revising the words through speaking before writing. So this was the second session, not the first one. Take care of this point, please. And actually, the rest of the session was to build the second half of the story. I said we have 6 problems and we need 6 workers. Then if you are going to see, I got 6 students out, and I considered one of them to be the carpenter, and one of them to be the plumber, and one of them to be the electrician, and I assigned gestures for each one, and I let them say, I am the electrician, I am the plumber, and they start saying, he is the, and then we related to the first half of the story, when he said, I am the electrician, I fix the power. You understand me? And so on. I am the plumber, or I am the repair person, and I fixed the window. So this is the rest action, and then they wrote it. And they watched the sentences on the PowerPoint presentation again and corrected themselves. But anyway, thank you very much for this point that I was a good facilitator, but I want to know I was a bad what? This is what I want to know. Let's say not bad, but I was not what? What roles haven't I played and I should have? What? Not I. What roles should the teacher play and he hasn't played? Yes.
I think, we couldn't see it because, again, we didn't see the whole lesson.
Sure, but
it's a good idea at the beginning to let the students know, and maybe even write on the board, what they are supposed to do in the activity. During the activity, you had to explain to them, I want both of you to write. So maybe in a similar exercise, everyone take out a paper. Make sure everyone has it. Where's yours? Everyone take out a pencil. Now everyone's going to write the story. Each person, and they can work together.
Perfect. So Tahir, please, you should provide us with papers and pencils for all students now. This is good actually, just to let them understand. Because I made it clear, by the way, before, but this is cut also because of the time, but I made it clear as the instruction of the activity before starting, I made it clear that each one is going to write, but you are going to think in pairs in order to remind each other, but each one is going to write. And therefore I was saying, both of you, because I told them a lot in the instructional, or in the instruction, just as the start of the activity, you should write, each one should write it, but not individually, in pairs. So any other comments, please?
Yes.
Yes, because we don't have time for yes.
Two short things. First of all, were the students able to see visibly what the objectives were? Like as a reminder, let's say for example, if they were working on something, were they able to see what the objectives were? At the end of the lesson, were they able to connect the objectives to what they've learned? And finally, were there any type of aggrandizements given to the students for those who have successfully completed that objectives?
I'm sorry for this part, for this
Let's say,
word,
for
agreement.
example, any type of reward, like for example, like
Actually, the reward was
Snickers
just,
or
the reward, I'm sorry, the reward was just like that.
that
It was like that, just clapping for the students. And all the students did the same, by the way. I don't know if I included it or not, but one of them wrote it correctly from the first time, and I did like that. The whole class just clapped to him. It means that they appreciate that he did something which they can't do. Not all of them can do. You don't clap for anyone. You should feel that he did something even distinguished maybe, or something that you can't do yourself. Therefore you appreciate that. So this is the only reward. I'm sorry for that. I don't have to.
Again, Mr. Taha.
yes, again, the coordinator.
So yes, Mr. Tash. Where is
It's not my demo presentation. I didn't see all of it, so maybe I would like to ask you already know. However, did you have any students that couldn't do the activity?
No, most of them could do it, but even for the spelling mistakes and the grammatical mistakes they corrected themselves by themselves. This is self-correction when they saw the story on the board in the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation. And then actually at the end, the final stage of the session, which is not included also, so sorry for that because of the time, but this stage, after they wrote the second part of the story and they corrected themselves, I let them start peer correction. In order, maybe someone hasn't corrected himself in a good way, actually, or he hasn't observed one of the points or something like that. So they started peer correction. And by the end, I collected the papers. Just to start the teacher collecting. This is the point. I haven't corrected them till now. But anyway, can you just have a look and you know, of course, the teacher-centered, the student-centered classroom or cafe, we're going to say here, and you know the struggle between the two approaches, and I think that we shouldn't just follow or use one of the two approaches. There should be, again, some kind of integration, but maybe with different percentages. And we are going to, I mean, this is controversial point, just to say that I prefer 70% student-centered, for example, and 30% other, are going to say 50-50, 80-20, 90-10, whatever. But the point is, most teachers who are working in classrooms and most supervisors in cafes, I think that they agree with me that we should integrate between the two approaches. So just to revise them, we have focus is on instructor and focus is on both students and instructor. Which one should go to the teacher-centered approach? And which one should go actually to the student-centered one? This is not a test, just to revise with each other. The first one actually is considered to be for the teacher because here the focus is on the instructor. I think this was not in the video. And here, focus is on language use in typical situations. Here, focus is on language forms and structures. Which one should go to the student-centered?
The top one is student.
I was just laughing at the caption, focus on language forms and structures, what the instructor knows about
the language, yes. Because he wants to show himself. This is one of the tenets or one of the traits of the teacher-centered action. He always thinks if he is an extremely teacher-centered advocate, so it means that he is going to always show himself. He is a lecturer all the time.
But do you consider that a talent?
Did I say talent? I said tenet. Tenet, not talent.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's tenet, not talent, actually. It's not a talent, it is a tenet. So here you have the rest of them. Again, and quickly, students work alone. Of course, this is the one related to students work alone. Is this correct in the teacher-centered classroom?
Not always.
Just to be clear, alone here means individually. This is what I mean. Maybe it's not clear because I should have written individually, not alone. But anyway, these are the other points of the difference between teacher-centered and student-centered. Just quickly to show you because we don't have time again. And you have it included in the handouts if you want to have a look at it afterwards actually. But just, I'm showing this just to tell me what points of these were not, or don't care about this point, just tell me how much of the class or of the 10 minutes were teacher-centered and how much was student-centered. Can you just tell me this point? Can you evaluate this?
From the 10 minutes?
From the 10 minutes, just from the 10 minutes.
Maybe 50-50 in the 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was 50.
It was 50-50.
46. No,
40 what?
I would say,
40-60 or 40-60?
30, from 32, 30 at the beginning to 70, okay? At the beginning, you have to explain as a teacher, you have to direct the students. That's why, teachers, it should be teacher-centered at the beginning. So I would assume that at the beginning you took about 70% as a teacher, okay? But later on, you give the 70% back to the students, and you took the 30%.
So okay, thank you very much. This is what I wanted to do in the class.
Really?
But anyway, thank you very much. So any other comments, any other opinions?
Can I just ask a question, Inshallah?
Yes.
You had a point that the students work individually. Can you just elaborate as to how that becomes teacher-centered? The students, because that might not be clear in the minds of...
Yes, okay, of course students can work individually even in the student-centered classroom, and they work individually in this video. But the point is, in the teacher-centered approach, when students work individually, it means that he is totally away from the teacher. He's not guided by the teacher. The teacher is just giving the lecture. He is a lecturer. He's just speaking and again showing one of his talents that he knows something about the language. And then he lets the students just work individually without guiding them. I'm not going to say step by step, but just without giving them clear points about how to work individually. Or, again, without shifting from individual work to pair or group work.
I think if we go back to that comment that was mentioned there, that the teacher teaches to show what he knows, I think there's an assumption that the information I gave you was so perfect that there's no need for help. There's no way you could not have understood what I just gave you.
So you don't need to work.
So
you don't need to work in pairs and groups because I gave you everything. You can work individually. That's it. I gave you the concept, and you can just work yourself individually.
And this is the essence, actually, of the cafes, Mr. Awais, right? From the very beginning when we met you, you said that it's for, autonomous learning. So individual work is about this. We are training, yes, it's part of it. We are training the students to work on their own, at home, for example. When you ask the students, for example, did you work at home, did you study? They say, no. We left the books in the car and we got them in the morning.
So the discussion about this presentation should have taken about 10 minutes, but the problem is 10 minutes even is not enough. But these are the main points, or the second half of the main points about the student-centered classroom that we have just mentioned. And again, I should actually showed you some information about the task analysis. How to handle the task and how to get it into steps and how to get the steps into
future training.
Yes, it will be future actually. We don't have time for that now. And I have also some information about the TPRS, but this was not included in the presentation now because you have a handout about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.